You're watching the Community MMA.
We're on the brink of Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, the trilogy fight just announced over the weekend. Now, of course, we had all the fighting at UFC Vegas 67. We had John Jones versus Cyril Gane announced at UFC 286 or 285. And, of course, Francis Ngannou's released from the UFC. So you got all that going on. Then they slipped in Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman into the mix, the trilogy. So first thought, Hamza Chimaev is just on the back burner, I guess. Maybe he goes to middleweight. I don't know. That seems to be the bigger topic to me. But I'm still interested in Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, the trilogy, because Usman's still the better fighter. But could Leon Edwards still figure out a way to win like he did last time? So that's why I'm interested in it, because it is an interesting question. And we need to get to the bottom of it here in this division and get this over with. And I know a lot of you, like me, are upset with all the freaking rematches and trilogies and Figueiredo versus Moreno 4 and, you know, all this stuff going on. I mean, it is what it is, but you get tired of it after a while. So I'm kind of happy that this thing's going to be done and over with by March 4th, which is less than a month, about a month and a half away. And then maybe Hamza Chimaev gets his opportunity, or he'll get a fight set up between now and then, get ranked in the middleweight as well, and then he's got to get a title shot at some point. I mean, Pereira did. You know, it's Hamza Chimaev's time. But how did we get here, right? You had Leon Edwards on a major win streak, Kamaru Usman, #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, major win streak, and it came to a head in the 5th round. Let's take a quick look back. And this is what makes the MMA, UFC so great is, you know, other sports you could come down to the wire, right? 2 minutes. Sometimes the losing team has a chance to win. Sometimes it's a blowout and the last 2 minutes don't matter. If you're in the final 2 minutes of a fight, you still have a chance to win. Doesn't matter if you're down. Doesn't matter if Usman's up 3 rounds to 1. If you're Leon Edwards, you still got a chance to win. 100%. And a nice leg kick there by Leon as he's switching back and forth from righty to lefty. And for most of this fight, I mean, Usman's remained at righty, Edwards at lefty. It's allowed them both to land some leg kicks, but not a lot. It's been a lot more pressure and control, combined with takedowns for Usman. 1:15 left in the fight. And you've seen these fights too from like Adesanya. Usman usually dominates, but you know, some people are expecting a big finish here, but Leon Edwards is a worthy opponent. You see that now. Okay, we get it. Oh my God! Oh my God, Leon Edwards KO'd Usman!
Yes!
Holy shit!
Yes!
Holy shit! Are you kidding me, bro?
Boom! Boom!
Usman just lost the welterweight title.
Boom!
The best
Boom!
pound-for-pound fighter in the world gets knocked out in the final minute,
Boom!
and people are going to be going bananas. Holy crap! Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. Usman took a left leg kick. He just, oh my gosh. Just as I was saying, this is why this is the greatest sport. If you're still standing in the end, you can, one thing, boom! Left leg kick right to the chin, and Usman is done.
Hamza Chimaev!
Unbelievable.
Hamza Chimaev!
All right, let's see this now, because Usman got up complaining, but okay. All right, he's down. Yeah, Usman's out. Forget it. Not even a question. Oh my gosh, man. Wow. Unbelievable. This is going to go down as the most shocking finish in UFC history. I don't care what anybody says. The most shocking finish ever. Holy cow. Wow. Wow.
Hamza Chimaev's.
This is unbelievable.
Hamza Chimaev's. Hamza Chimaev's.
Obviously, I'm in shock, right? I mean, I'm in shock at that point. Because it looked like Usman was cruising to victory, doing what he normally does. And out of nowhere, it's just KO finish. And you got a new welterweight champion in Leon Edwards. So now let's get to the prediction for the trilogy. And then we'll keep it in the welterweight division with the prediction of the day, Neil Magny, Gilbert Burns. So we got that coming up. But here's the Edwards versus Usman trilogy prediction. In the welterweight division at UFC 286, the trilogy for the welterweight title, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. And if you don't remember the last fight, I mean, how could you forget Leon Edwards KO'd Usman in the 5th round? So we get the trilogy. Both guys 1-1 against each other, but overall, Edwards 20-3, Usman 20-2. It's ridiculous. Edwards 2 inches taller at 6'2". Usman 2-inch reach advantage, 76-74. He's switch stance fighter. Edwards fights left-handed. Usman lands about 4.6 significant strikes per minute, 2.6 for Edwards, because he likes the ground game. But Usman is better there too. Great takedown defense, 3 takedowns over 3 rounds, or pretty much 1 per round. Edwards gets 1 every 2. So you can see why Leon Edwards would be the underdog, even going to London and as the current champ. 68% takedown defense. 68, that's not great. It's average. He did beat Usman last with the knockout. Beat Nate Diaz. No contest against Muhammad. But you got to go back like 10, 11 fights when he lost to Usman back in 2015. That's the last time he lost. So you got to consider that for sure in this fight. Usman, 97% takedown defense. We talked about John Jones, 95%. 97% is even more ridiculous. So he lost to Edwards in the last fight, but beat Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, Gilbert Burns, Masvidal, Covington, Woodley, RDA. He was on a massive win streak as well. So you got the clash of the Titans here. But guess what? I still think Leon Edwards wins this fight because it's in London. Right? It's in the UK. It's in England. He's going to have the crowd support. And I think he gets another crazy finish because I think Usman will still dominate the fight round by round. But I think Edwards is going to find a way to win this thing. He's got to. He's got to find a way to win this thing. That's why it's hard to say how he'll win, because normally when I look at the stats, I go with the stats, and they're all in favor of Usman. But Edwards still has the X factor, and that's a finish. So I say he gets it. He moves to 21-3. Ends the reign of Usman for good. Usman falls to 20-3 here in the welterweight division for the welterweight division title at UFC 286. Yeah, so I mean, it's a tough prediction. And who knows what our record is at that time. We're 1-0 right now with the Sean Strickland win in the main event. 1-0. So we'll start the year on a positive note, but who knows what it holds by then. But Leon Edwards is a tough pick. He's the underdog. But I'm still leaning with him to win this fight. Leon Edwards, got to pull this out for me, please. For my reputation. Because the clear, decisive pick is easy pick would be Usman. I mean, 2/3 of the poll already, posted a couple hours ago, 67% in favor of Usman winning the trilogy. And Hamza Chimaev versus Usman would be ridiculous too. If Hamza can get back down in that weight, I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. But Leon Edwards saying, and I believe it was on Mike Bisping's podcast, I just want to see how he reacts to getting knocked out and see how he reacts traveling to the UK, seeing how crazy the fans are and just how he comes back because he's not getting no younger. He's what, 35, 36, 37? I added the 37. Maybe older. Let's see how he comes back. Yeah, so that's the fact. That's the thing too, is Usman is getting older. Make no mistake about it. Usman is getting older day by day. It'll be a totally different fight. Edwards says, I've said it. My coaches have said it. I've never lost in the UK, amateur or pro. So I'm excited. I love fighting in front of my friends and my family. And yeah, I think it's going to be a totally different fight. If he thinks he's going in there and it's going to be the same fight, he's in for a rude awakening. And that's where the KO changes things, because now he has that in his mind. Where in the last fight, it's just like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna walk Leon Edwards down. Now he has that in his mind. There's no other way around it. And to me, that plays a factor in this fight. Now, as we're getting into this show throughout the week, right, we're going to get into UFC 283 predictions. And the first one today, we're just going to stick with, since we're in the welterweight, we're going to stick with Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny at UFC 283. That's a big one. Two big-time contenders going at it. Help shaping this division going forward, too. Let's get into it. In the welterweight division at UFC 283, you got two high-level contenders here between Gilbert Burns, who comes in at 20-5. The Brazilian takes on Neil Magny, the American, who comes in at 27-10. And this will be a good test for both fighters. Now, Neil Magny, 5 inches taller, 6'3" compared to 5'10". He's got a 9-inch reach advantage. That's considerable. Both guys stand right-handed. They both land about 3.5 significant strikes per minute, believe it or not. So they're both not really that active. And we'll see how it plays out in this fight. Both guys can land takedowns. Gilbert Burns right at 2 over 3 rounds. Neil Magny at 2.4 over 3 rounds. So the numbers and everything are very close. The only difference here is that Neil Magny's 5 inches taller and has got a 9-inch reach advantage. But can Neil Magny deal with the size and aggressiveness of Gilbert Burns, right? Gilbert Burns does have a 47% takedown defense. That's not very good at all, but I'm not so sure that Neil Magny is going to be able to take him to the ground and hold him there. Now, Gilbert Burns lost to Khamzat Chimaev by unanimous decision in a fight where he outstruck Khamzat 119-108, but Khamzat had 2 takedowns and a little bit of control time in that fight. Burns did beat Stephen Thompson and lost to Kamaru Usman before or after a long 6-fight win streak. So he's dropped 2 of his last 3. Now the Haitian sensation, 57% takedown defense. So 2 guys with weak takedown defense. This could be interesting to see if they go for him. The takedowns, that is, Neil Magny did beat D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, by submission in his last fight, round 3. Before that, he lost to Shavkat Rakhmonov and beat Max Griffin and Jeff Neal. So as you can see, this guy's won 3 of his last 4, and if you go back a little ways, he's won 6 of his last 8. So he's a high-level competitor. Now, it's not to say that Neil Magny can't win this fight. I mean, I like the reach advantage. I like the height advantage. He's punching downward. But it's the power and aggressiveness of Gilbert Burns. I think he's going to get right in the face of Neil Magny, where Neil Magny is going to want to kind of jab and move and keep the distance, right? You want to keep your reach advantage. When you got a longer reach than your opponent by a large margin, you don't want that guy to be up in your face. You want to keep the distance. And I think Gilbert Burns is going to do a good job of eating up that cushion and continue to get in the face of Neil Magny. And therefore, he's going to win this fight at least 2 rounds out of 3 if he can't get the finish. But I wouldn't be surprised if Gilbert Burns lands a big shot to get the KO. But either way, he's going to win this fight, move to 21-5. Magny will fall to 27-11, in my opinion. Welterweight division, UFC 280. Yeah, so you can see the welterweight rankings there. Gilbert Burns down at number 5. Neil Magny a few spots below. We like Gilbert Burns there. Then you work your way up. You got Muhammad, Chimaev, Covington, Usman, Edwards, champion. So that's the way that thing looks right now. But I think Gilbert Burns wins this fight and wins it easily. He's the bigger guy. He's better. Neil Magny will try to keep the distance, but if you're Gilbert Burns, you got to get inside. You got to shoot for takedowns. You got to be aggressive on the feet and not let Neil Magny stand back and pick you apart. But I think he knows that, and that'll happen with ease. So as we get into the chat room, you got Kenneth Bruner is back. Speaking of Francis Ngannou, good riddance Ngannou. Let's go Bones. The big fight announcement against Gane, and that's going to be a crazy, tough fight for John Jones. Although I think he wins it, but Cyril Gane is a very good heavyweight and outstruck Francis Ngannou pretty good. If he didn't give up all the takedowns, he would have won that fight. D. Micah Reynolds, this is a big fight. Big. UFC finally. It's on. Yeah, because John Jones is back. And it continues. Took some time. It worked out for Jones. Really nice. He might be able to rule heavyweight, both Stipe Francis out the mix for whatever reason. Yeah. And if John Jones wins, I don't think you have a question about who the heavyweight champion is. Cyril Gane wins, and you'll get the whole, no, Francis Ngannou beat him and this and that. But Cyril Gane was right there. I mean, it wasn't like it was an easy fight. I mean, he was right there. He outstruck Ngannou by like 20. It's like 161 to 141. It might be off a little bit, but very close to that. So, and Gane's right there. I don't want to hear Colostrum. Since Merab doesn't want to fight Aljamain Sterling because they are friends, then maybe Merab and Umar can fight next. That would be a banger. Yeah. I mean, that would be huge. That would be huge. And how does that fight play out? Because they're both really good. And I think that's why you're saying it would be a banger, because they're both really good fighters. So how would that fight play out? That would be really, really interesting. Make no mistake about it. But listen, let's wrap this thing up. It's your boy Chris Cross. This is a community MMA. UFC 283 goes down this Saturday, so we'll be back with more predictions. Have a great day and God bless.